In more than 35 years of my experience as a mental lecturer and a mental coach, I often have these questions from people that say, oh, Dragon, if I had this fantastic computer that could solve my problems and achieve my goals and get me the information that I need, that would be fantastic. And I always tell them, you have that computer. You have this biocomputer, the brain in your head, which is this fantastic computer that can solve your problems, achieve your goals, and get the information that you need. And then they say, if I have this computer, why isn't why aren't my family relationships functioning well? Why isn't my health so excellent, as I wish? Why are these money problems in my life? And why are all these problems in my life if I own such a fantastic biocomputer? Because owning that computer does not guarantee anything. You need to learn how to use this computer, how to use your brain in the right way so that you can solve your family problems and live in fulfilling relationships, so that you can have excellent health, so that you can live in financial comfort or financial freedom. So the how is the key. And where can you find the how? You can find the how in the Silva Life System, which is a 2-day program which consists of 13 concrete mental techniques for every possible situation in your life. And this is something that I've been using more than 35 years. And this is something that I will be using until the end of my stay on this beautiful planet. And a lot of people, when I talk to them, they say, hey, Dragon, you had luck. Probably everything in your life was easy and flowing and so forth. No, it wasn't easy. I was brought up in a country which fell apart in a civil war, which is Yugoslavia. And that's where I was born. I lived a lot of my life abroad in different countries, in Austria, in England, in United States, and so forth. But this is the country I was born in, and this country fell apart in a civil war. And I didn't know at a certain period of time whether I would be mobilized, overnight and sent to the front to fight against my brothers, in a war which is always, like every war, senseless. It doesn't have meaningless. Second thing, that I had to go through was this inflation, which was so high that if you bought 1 kilo of apples in the morning, in the afternoon they cost twice as much. So we had currency which is called dinars, and this currency we had a banknote 1 billion dinars. So we jokingly used to say with my friends, we're all billionaires, we have billion dinars in our hands. Then I went through this other challenge in my life, big one. We had sanctions for 3 years. The country was closed up and there was no import and export. And a lot of goods were missing, like gasoline for the car, medication for the poor older people, and so forth. We solved all of that, In the middle of all of that, I had a divorce. So if somebody says you had your life easy, I didn't have it easy. And I moved to Czech Republic in the middle of Eastern Europe. Actually in the middle of Europe, to Prague, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. I didn't know the language, and in 2 months I was already teaching in Czech, which was a new language for me, completely new language, and I did it by using the techniques from the Silva Life System. So I've overcome all of these problems, and I just recently celebrated my 70th birthday, and I'm completely healthy. And I'm, as you can see, full of energy and enthusiasm. And biologically, my age is about 53, and psychologically about 44. But I say to everybody, once you pass the age of 50, forget about your chronological age. Just concentrate on your biological and psychological age. And why am I completely healthy? Why am I enjoying life, although I had these very big challenges in my life? Because I'm using the techniques from the Silva Life System. And these techniques I'll be using the rest of my stay on this beautiful and unique planet, definitely. And I use them every day. Now, what does the Silva Life System have for you? Okay, these techniques, I'll describe them and I'll give you the benefits that they will give you. First of all, I teach in the Silva Life System relaxation, and I teach tools which allow you to neutralize stress. Now, stress is the major source of all diseases on this planet. And it's an unbelievable silent killer, which creates, with this chronic stress, blocks the energy pathways, and blocking of the energy pathways in our body creates health problems and diseases in our body. this is something that most people don't do anything about, systematically and every day. So in the beginning of Silva Life System, I give you 3 tools how to neutralize stress. One is relaxation. And if you close your eyes and relax and you enter the alpha frequency, which is actually the frequency which you have experienced when you slept in a bus or on a plane or on a train, and this is something that you have experienced, and you close your eyes, you enter this alpha frequency, this alpha state, and you spend more than 15 minutes in it, then research shows that, the stress blockers in the body are dissolved. Now, that is a fantastic influence, health influence and health benefit of the relaxation itself. Then I also teach at the beginning of the Silva Life System the worry transformer and the guilt eliminator. Worries regarding the future and guilt feelings, blamings regarding the past are 2 major sources of stress which we have in our awake state during the day. And they function continuously. So worry transformer changes your thinking from your fears, and a lot of people today are suffering from anxiety, okay? And you change from fears into fulfilled desires. The guilt feeling has 3 steps. The guilt eliminator has 3 steps where you eliminate the blaming and the guilt feeling towards yourself or towards other people who haven't behaved in a fair, correct way towards you. So these are the 3 tools right at the beginning. So right at the beginning, you, in the first 2 sections, you are a person who knows how to eliminate stress. That's fantastic benefit, fantastic. Now, then we go on, and then I teach you concrete techniques for concrete life situations. For example, the mental shower. The mental shower, or we call it the awake control technique, is a technique where you learn how to change the undesired state. Mostly my graduates and graduates of Silva Method throughout the world use this technique for fatigue, for when they're tired. And most of my graduates say, I come back home and I'm tired and my wife and my kids are looking forward to seeing me. I have small kids, they want to play with me. I'm in no mood to play with anybody, talk to my wife because I was exhausted, So what do? I say, excuse me, I'll go to the bathroom, I'll come back, Daddy will come back in a couple of minutes. And this technique takes only 2 minutes. And in 2 minutes, you change the energy state that you're in. You change your mood, you change your enthusiasm, and then you can play with your kids. You can talk to your wife about whatever she wants to discuss with you and exchange with you. So this is a fantastic technique that you can use for energy lacking. A lot of people that are entrepreneurs and work really hard during the day, they use this technique. They love this technique because it only takes 2 minutes, And it has an influence as if you had slept, let's say, half an hour or 45 minutes, lie down and slept, a healthy deep sleep. Mental shower. Then immediately after that, I teach you at the life, these are the benefits for you. The technique which is called the mirror of the mind, and it's a technique for goal achievement and problem solving. Now, this technique uses this fantastic tool that you have, and this is imagination. Imagination, your creativity, defines you as a human being because nothing living has imagination and creativity like a human being. You can have a dog, and you have a dog probably. It is emotional, and it can express its emotions, but it's not infinitely creative, That's a feature of a human being. So you use your imagination to imagine that your goal has already been achieved. And you go through the emotion of happiness and fulfillment that the goal has been achieved. All of this has certain rules, why it's done that way, because the techniques that we teach are in line with the laws of functioning of your brain. So then, I've been using this technique in everything that I do. Even the fact that I'm now shooting this video is a result of the mirror of the mind. I projected this as my goal achieved. And everything I've done in my life has been the result of a mirror of the mind, because whatever I desire sincerely, I project, first of all, mentally that it's finished, and then I go and act upon it and materialize it. Then the next technique that I teach in the life system, which is fantastic for you, is called the sleep control. Now, the sleep control is a technique if you have problems with sleep. A lot of people, I sleep like a log, like a bear. But a lot of people, and I used to sit, I talk to people and they would say, I have problems with sleep. And then another person would say, I have problems with sleep. What about you, Dragon? I say, I can fall asleep right now because I've been practicing entering this alpha frequency, this relaxation level, which is beginning of sleep, you know. And so I said, I can fall asleep right now, which is true. I can fall asleep sitting right here. So the sleep problems are a big problem. Insomnia, a big problem today. And a lot of people have problems with that. And this sleep control technique will allow you to start sleeping beautifully in a healthy manner, having a deep physiological sleep every night. In more than 35 years of my experience teaching courses, and I've taught more than 500 live courses only, I haven't had a person that hasn't solved this problem. One of my record persons is from 𝗥𝗶𝗃𝗄𝗏 𝗏𝗂 is his name. He had 22 years of using different certain sleep tablets for healthy sleep, and he actually regulates his sleep. He regulated his sleep in 1 week. In 1 week, he was already sleeping without tablets, without usage of that, only by using his mind and using this specific technique. So then, you know, I will teach you the awake control, the mental alarm clock, how to wake up in the morning and to wake up at the desired time and to be full of energy and full of enthusiasm, you know, starting the next day. This technique I use already more than 35 years. I'm a practitioner. I don't teach something theoretically. What I teach, I use. And I use this technique regularly. Even when I travel abroad and it's a different time zone, I tell my brain when to wake me up in the morning using this technique, and I give it a command for me to be fresh and full of energy next day. This is a technique which is very useful for you, will be useful for you if you go into a different time zone, or if you have shorter sleep. If you have a sleep which lasts, let's say, 4 hours, then you need to really use that time in a quality way to wake up in the morning and be ready for the next day, which is full of activity. Again, next technique that I deliver to my students during the Silva Life System is the technique which is called the dream control. And this technique is a technique where it's an informational technique where you don't know something and you need information. You have a crossroad, you don't know how to decide. Something is bothering you or a close member of the family. You don't know what the reason for that is. What is the cause? So this technique is used when you don't know. This is a technique for the wise people, because the smarties, you know, they always analyze according to the information they have, and they always defeat themselves and say, I can't solve this, I don't see the solution, you know, it's too late, I'm too old, or I'm too young, I don't have the time to achieve this. They always have all these explanations. The wise person says, if I don't know, I ask, you know, I ask and I get the answer. So keep in mind that this is the technique where you get the answer through a dream that night. It needs a little bit of practice to practice memorizing dreams, maybe a couple of weeks, and then you can use it. Imagine this, meeting a friend, and a friend says, I have this problem and I don't know how to solve it, you know, I have no idea and it's bothering me for months, you know. And you say, yeah, I have also this problem and I know I don't know how to solve it either, but tonight I will use my dream control, my technique, and I will order the solution through a dream, and I will get the solution through a dream tonight. Well, they will look at you and they will say, what planet did you come from? Did you fall from Jupiter? Or I don't know where, you know, are you an ET, or who are you? You're a genius. Well, you're using your brain in a very natural way, because every time when you go to sleep, part of your sleep is dreams. And part of your sleep is dreams which are giving you solutions to the problems. Your brain is giving you the answers to your questions. So, you know, for me, it's fascinating when I see somebody who says, you know, if you know the answers, you know, then, you know, you are a top, you know, if you know the answers, it's important to know the answers. Well, every night your brain is giving you the answers through a dream. It's a fantastic technique, and I recommend it to everybody, the informational technique when you don't know something in your life. You have a crossroad, or you don't know how to solve something, or you don't know how to decide by a certain period of time. Then the next technique, which I teach in the Silva Life System, is the 3 fingers technique, okay, where you connect the first 2 fingers and your thumb on either hand. And you can now connect them as much as you want to, but, you know, your brain is going to say, you know, that you're playing with your fingers. It hasn't learned what it means. And so we need to teach the brain what it means. And this technique is a technique where once you put your 3 fingers together, you have all the alpha characteristics added on from this alpha relaxed state when you have your eyes closed, and you're in this sleeping frequency alpha, which is 7 to 14 hertz measured by EEG. So if you close your eyes, you're in this alpha frequency. You have certain characteristics which are specific, highly specific, and which during the day, if you put your 3 fingers together, we teach that during the course, you have these alpha characteristics added. So you can have them in the awake state. You don't have to close your eyes and go to the alpha state. So what happens is, what are the characteristics that you have when you put your 3 fingers together? Which are added is fantastic memory, concentration, beautiful, fantastic creativity, extra high intuition, and so forth and so forth. Immune system that's functioning stronger and in a stronger, more effective fashion, and also inner peace. You have all these alpha characteristics added on, okay? And so what do people use, this technique for? The graduates use this technique to find something. If they've lost a key or a cell phone, they're looking for it. Or they use this technique to get in time to a meeting. They use this technique to concentrate, to relax, to get an idea. They use this technique to recall an information. If they met a friend from elementary school and they couldn't recall their name in the beginning of the conversation, they use this technique for communication. Because imagine if you're communicating with someone and you have your 3 fingers and you can have them on your lap, nobody sees the difference. And if you put them together, you have excellent memory, concentration, creativity, and intuition. Your communication is going to be fantastic, okay? So this is the 3 fingers technique, which is used in the awake state as a so-called trigger technique, because it triggers the alpha state characteristics and helps you throughout the day in all sorts of situations. Very popular, probably the most popular technique from the program that people use, everybody uses. Then we depart, and next morning when we see each other, I ask you, what have you used, And somebody has used the sleep control because they had insomnia problems. Somebody has used the 3 fingers to find the keys. Somebody has used the mirror of the mind, that they've already projected their goal as achieved. Somebody has used the awake control, that we popularly call mental shower, to change the fatigue that they were in. So you start immediately practicing, you start immediately using the technique, because that's the essence of Silva Method. Silva Method is a scientifically researched method. We had 22 years of preparatory research to create the method, and it's a scientifically researched method and tested method of greater usage of the brain. So it's practical, and immediately you start using the techniques, and you immediately have feedback that you can do much more than you thought, that you can achieve much more than you thought. You have feedback, life feedback, which gives you encouragement and enthusiasm for further usage. So then we go on to the further techniques in the life system, and that's 2 techniques which are concentrated on eliminating the pain. They're so-called intervention techniques regarding health. Because if you're feeling pain, you're very programmable, okay? We're highly influenced if we feel a pain, in that moment of pain. Our thoughts are being impressed upon us in a very strong, exceptionally strong manner. So if you have a thought when you don't feel a pain, and you have a thought when you feel a pain, when you have that same thought, when you're feeling the pain, it's going to be impressed upon you, upon your cells in a much stronger fashion. So we're using the moment of pain, where we're highly, we can be highly influenced or programmable, to use that term. You're using that moment to create health, to get rid of pain. And these 2 techniques are the pain control technique, which is used for headaches and for other parts of the body, and the so-called glove anesthesia. The headache control can be used on your own, and the glove anesthesia you can use on yourself in the awake state. That's usually in the awake state, and you can use it on yourself or to help other people. And then we go on, the program goes on. You can see how rich it is already, how many techniques you have learned. And then we go on, and we teach the memory pegs, which is a mental aerobic technique which will help you improve your memory. But improving your memory, you will improve your creativity, definitely. You will develop your intuition. You will develop other skills that you need in your life. And this is an aerobic technique, mental aerobic technique, where you practice memorizing certain terms. And this is, a lot of times, it's a revolutionary a technique for a lot of people which have convinced themselves that they have no memory or very low memory, or that they're very old and they cannot memorize anything and so forth. They're very, very surprised how excellent their memory is. And of course, if it's practiced, then it gets better and better. And then we go on, and then we use the three fingers technique, a special variation for learning. Keep in mind that when you're in the alpha state, in this relaxation state, you have the three pillars of learning are on much higher level. The first one is memory, the second one is concentration, and the third one is understanding. Because when you're in the alpha state, you're using both brain hemispheres, and that is the left one, the logical, rational one, the analytical one, and you're using the right one, which is the imaginary, the picture one, the intuitive one, the creative one. In the awake state, in which I'm talking to you right now, and you're probably listening to me and watching me, in the awake state, which is the beta frequency of brain, we use all day long the left brain hemisphere continuously, which means we think rationally, logically, analytically, and we use the verbal expression, which is words, to communicate. But when you're at alpha, both brain hemispheres are at your disposal at the same time, simultaneously. And that means for a student, if a student is learning something and they have both brain hemispheres at their disposal, and they have greater memory, concentration, and understanding, then learning is really an easy process. When I moved to Czech Republic, I put my name 2 months. In 2 months, I'll be lecturing a 4-day Silva course, the basic lecture series. And I learned it in 2 months. It was a new language. And what did I use? I used the mirror of the mind, and I used the goal achievement technique, and I used the three fingers technique. And that's it. And I practiced with a friend, with a buddy that used the new English very well, a local Czech, my friend Paul, and that's how I did it. I prepared in 2 months and I lectured. So keep in mind the learning. If some of you are learning something, you need to have the I would say the characteristics of excellent learning. You need to have the right mode, and you need to have the right features, and you need to know how to use your brain in order to learn effectively. So three fingers, there's a special variation of three fingers for learning, which we do on the second day. And then continuing, we do the mirror of the mind, a more complex variation, because if you want to project your goals as achieved, then the most important goals that you have are the present day. Today's day is the only day of life that I have. I don't have tomorrow. I don't have yesterday. Yesterday has passed, tomorrow hasn't come, but I have today. So it's important to lure the mirror of the mind by projecting your goals for the day, today's day, okay, of your life, the only unique, unrepeatable day of your life. It's also important to learn how to add new projects through the mirror of the mind to these goal achievement techniques, because new projects are coming in, and how to do the old ones, okay? The mirror of the mind has this fantastic feature in it that you analyze the problem only once, okay? And then you project the goal achieved. And then when you do it again in your mental exercise, when you close your eyes and you do this technique, you only do the goal achieved. You only project the goal achieved. Why is that done so? Because you have, as a conscious human being, you have attention as a fantastic instrument, fantastic tool, and attention, it attracts energy. So what are you directing your attention towards? My goal achieved. And again, when you go to your relaxation level, my goal has been achieved. My goal has been achieved. So what you direct your attention towards, that grows in your life. What do most people do? They direct their attention and they pay their attention to their problems, to their health problems. They describe it, they think about it, so the health problem grows. This technique teaches you how to use your attention in a fantastic manner. So we do the mirror of the mind the second day in a more complex way. We explain how to do more projects, how to combine them, how to add new ones. And then we go on to a technique which is called the glass of water. Now, glass of water is a fantastic technique for you. It's informational, you have the dream control. And the glass of water means that you fill in a glass of water before you go to sleep, and you enter your relaxational level, your alpha level, and then you give your brain a command to give you an answer to a question that you don't know the answer, or to give you a solution at a crossroad that you have in your life, or to give you an answer, what to choose from variations that you need to choose, let's say until Friday at 10 o'clock, okay? So you need a variation B, a variation A, a cooperation with this company or with this person, or a cooperation with this person. You don't know, you're not sure. So this is a fantastic technique when you don't know. It's like the dream control. And this is a technique which is used a lot in situations where you have crossroads, when you don't know, when you need to solve something until a certain point in time and you're not sure what solution to choose, when you don't know. As dream control, the difference is the glass of water, you get the answer during the day. You get the answer with a conversation with a friend, browsing through internet, telephone call, okay, or an idea in your shower. Glass of water technique, informational technique for the wise. And then we go on, and then we have at the final part, we have the habit control technique. Now keep in mind that you're 95% of the time you're habitual. You're a creature of habits, okay? And we actually 95% of time function on the habitual mode, and our brain triggers our habits. Now, when were these habits formed? They were formed until the age of 14 of your life. And these are our biggest obstacles in life as adults, because we constantly fight with the habits that we have picked up in our childhood. And these habits, because they were repeated many times, have become very strong, you know. Habits can be different, can be habits regarding your self-esteem, can be habits regarding your weight, can be habits regarding your procrastination, can be habits regarding, you know, your relationship with time, different. But the basic question is, do you know how to change your habits? And this is what most people don't know, because the library of the habits, the library of the subconscious, is not available in the awake state that we're right now in, you and I. It's not available, you know. That's why that all these resolutions that people make at the end of the year, and they promise to themselves, and they write on paper, or they promise to themselves, you know, looking at themselves in the mirror, that they will now lose their weight 20 kilos, or they will do this, and they will stop procrastinating. So it doesn't function, because the library of the subconscious, the library of your habits, is not available in your awake state, in your beta awake frequency. So when you go to alpha, you know, you close your eyes, this is the sleeping frequency, then the library of the subconscious is available, is accessible, and you use special technique, which is called habit control, to give your brain and mind command to erase this limiting habit and install on the computer disk, to use this term, a new habit which is healthy and constructive for you. This is, I would say, fantastic knowledge, fantastic skill, because everybody wants to grow, everybody wants to develop. But if you don't change your habits, you're not gonna develop or grow in a constant, I would say, continuous way. So this is the program. As you can see, there's so many techniques. And then, you know, there's so many, and all of them, you know, each one of these techniques is very specific. You know, sleep control if you have insomnia problems, headache control if you have headache, you know, goal achievement technique. If you don't know, I have the informational techniques. And so if I'm tired, I have the mental shower technique. So this is the beauty, and this is the strength of Silva Method. This is the strength of the Silva Life System. And sometimes I get these questions from people, and they say, "Oh, I've used a whole bunch of methods that I've bought from the internet, you know, from different people and so forth, and they didn't help me much, you know." Or I hear from people, for example, I have a headache and I have insomnia problems, and I downloaded a meditation exercise from the internet. And it's beautiful, and I feel really great, you know, but it hasn't solved my headache and my insomnia problems. Well, you know, then I tell people, but in the life system, you know, in the Silva Life System, you have a specific technique for the insomnia, the sleep control, and you have a specific technique for the headache. It's the headache control. So you cannot solve your specific problems in life with general approach. I meditate. Meditation is beautiful. It's healthy, excellent. I support. Beautifully, but you need to solve your specific problems using specific tools, you know. And this is the strength of Silva Method. We have a whole set of tools a whole set of mental techniques which are very specific, and you practically have a tool for every life situation in the Silva Life System. I have been teaching. I've been teaching this for more than 35 years, and sometimes I hear from people when they come to the course or before the course, they say, "Oh, I don't have time, Dragan. It's probably going to take a lot of my time." It doesn't take a lot of your time. It takes very little of your time. Because let's say the mental shower, 2 minutes, 3 fingers. You put your 3 fingers, and you give the command to your brain internally within. So there you go. The longest it takes is a mental exercise once a day. I recommend to people who are healthy once a day, 15 minutes, where they project their 3 or 4 goals through the goal achievement technique. And that's all. So the techniques take very little time of yours. Then sometimes I hear from people, "Oh, it's using the brain. It must be complicated." It's not. It's simple. It's very simple. People have used this technique, have been my students at my courses who had only elementary school, and they used it beautifully, fantastically, because the techniques are simple. They take very little time of yours, and they're very easy to use. But they are highly practical. And these techniques, why is it called the Silva Life System? Because it's a system of techniques. Your body is a system. This planet is a system. This universe is a system. System means precision. Precision. So these techniques are very precise. And each technique is very precisely defined for a specific life purpose. So this is what I hear from people. And in my experience of more than 35 years of teaching the Silva Life System, I can say that it will be a great privilege for me, a great honor, and a great joy to transfer this knowledge to you, so that you will have this knowledge of how to use your infinite intelligence that you have. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Silva Life System. It will be a great joy to answer your questions, to transfer these techniques to you, and to afterwards see all the improvements that you've made.